There are 4 words that have doomed more space missions than gravity itself. This should be simple. Every time an engineer says that somewhere in the universe, space rubs its hands together like a villain in a movie. Because today's story starts with a test so routine, so boring, so aggressively uninteresting that nobody bothered to worry about it. No countdown drama, no risky maneuvers, no, if this fails, we lose everything speeches. Just a routine space test. And naturally, it turned into a mystery that made grown scientists stare at screens in complete silence, questioning their life choices. Act 1. The most unexciting test imaginable. This test had been done before, many times, on paper, in simulations, in labs, in meetings that lasted way too long. And it was designed to answer one simple question. Does the system behave the way we expect? That's it. Not, is the universe broken? Are we alone? Is space haunted? Just, does it do the thing? Engineers were relaxed, almost insultingly relaxed. Someone literally said, this one's a formality. Someone else replied, we'll be done before lunch. That sentence should be illegal in aerospace. Act 2. The test begins and space acts normal for now. The spacecraft is in position. Systems are powered. Telemetry is flowing. Mission control looks calm, too calm. No nervous pacing. No emergency binders being hugged. No one whispering to the rocket. The test starts. Initial readings, normal. Secondary reading, also normal. Everything is doing exactly what it should. People relax. Now someone stretches. Someone checks their phone. Space watches patiently. Act 3. The first, huh? Then a number shows up. Not a bad number, not a dangerous number, just a strange one. Slightly off, barely noticeable. The kind of number you'd normally ignore. Someone says, that's probably noise. Another replies, yeah, sensors do that. They move on. Big mistake. Act 4. The number comes back with friends. A few moments later, the number appears again. Same offset, same pattern. Now it's annoying. Someone zooms in. Someone squints. Someone says, wait, why is it doing that? The room gets quieter. Engineers love patterns, but only when they make sense. This one doesn't. Act 5. Denial phase. It's just a glitch. The first instinct in science is denial, probably telemetry lag, sensor drift, conversion error, unit mismatch, classic excuses. They check sensors, calibration, timestamps, everything checks out. The number shouldn't exist, but it does. Act 6. The test is repeated. They rerun the test. Same result, exact same behavior, same weird number, same timing, same pattern. Now, it's not a glitch, it's a feature, and nobody remembers designing it. Act 7. The room changes energy. The jokes stop. Keyboards get louder. Coffee appears. Someone starts typing furiously like they're mad at the keyboard. Like someone finally says, okay, let's slow this down, which is scientist code for something is wrong and I don't like it. Act 8. The scariest word in engineering, consistent. The data is consistent, perfectly consistent. Every time the test runs, the same strange behavior appears. That's bad. Random errors are comforting. Consistent errors are terrifying because consistency means cause. Act 9. Theories begin. None of them good. Ideas start flying. What if the model is incomplete? What if the environment is affecting it? What if the system is interacting with something else? Someone jokingly says, what if space is weird? Nobody laughs. Act 10. The model versus reality fight. They compare the real data to simulations. Simulation, clean, predictable, boring reality. Slightly off, persistent, smug. The spacecraft is doing something the model never predicted, and models are supposed to be smarter than reality. That's the whole point. Act 11. The junior engineer moment. Enter the junior engineer, always the junior engineer. They ask, has anyone checked the assumptions? Silence. Because assumptions are sacred. Assumptions are comfortable. Assumptions keep projects alive, but assumptions are also dangerous. Act 12. The assumption that broke everything. They revisit the original test design. Buried deep in documentation is a sentence that basically says, we assume this condition will never occur. Guess what occurred? Exactly that. The test wasn't wrong. Reality just didn't agree with the assumptions. Act 13. Space didn't break the system. This is the moment it clicks. The system isn't malfunctioning, it's responding. Responding to something engineers assumed would never matter. Space didn't break the spacecraft. Space revealed the blind spot. Act 14, Emotional Damage, Engineering Edition. Engineers hate blind spots because that means more tests, more reviews, more delays, more meetings. Someone sighs, someone mutters, this was supposed to be easy. Space laughs silently. Act 15, the test becomes the investigation. The routine test is now an investigation. New charts, new metrics, new questions. They aren't testing the system anymore, they're interrogating it. And the system keeps answering, I'm doing exactly what you told me to do. Act 16, Public versus private reality. Publicly, nothing is wrong. No alerts, no failures, no headlines. Privately, this test just rewrote part of the design philosophy. The most dangerous problems aren't loud, they're subtle. Act 17. Why this happens all the time. This isn't a one-off. Space exposes assumptions like a spotlight, because in space, probably means nothing. Unlikely means inevitable. Never means soon. Act 18. The final realization. This mission didn't uncover a flaw. It uncovered confidence, and confidence is fragile. The test didn't fail. Reality just asked a question engineers forgot to ask. Conclusion: routine is a lie. There are no routine space tests, only tests that haven't embarrassed us yet. And every time we say, this will be quick, space hears, surprise me. This was the story of a routine space test that turned into a full-blown mystery. No explosions, no disaster, just a quiet reminder. In space, the scariest problems don't announce themselves. They politely show up and wait for you to notice.